So to start off, I'll have you say your name, the team you're with, and then your role with that team.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm Prescott Mack. I am with the Dallas Skyline, and I am the owner and general manager.
Okay, so Dallas. See, now we just had Jamestown, and now we have Dallas. Two vastly different markets.
Yeah.
How does, and I think Dallas, do you have soccer, Major League Soccer?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Okay,
FC Dallas.
I think you guys are the only ones then with all Big Five sports
Yep.
in your market. How
Mhm.
does that benefit or affect?
The great thing about Dallas and how I think it's only one other team in the league that actually has an NBA team in the exact same market as well. So Indiana is the only other team with an NBA team in the exact same market because New Jersey doesn't have their team anymore. So so we're the only other one. So only us two. And so the great thing about Dallas is it's a metroplex. So a lot of people don't know it's not just one city. It's like 100 or to 200 cities that make up the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, and so we actually have each entity has their own market. So for the Mavericks, they're Dallas, they're all over, and they're one of the only pro teams that actually operates and runs in the Dallas city limits. The Cowboys are in Arlington. The Rangers are also in Arlington. The Texas Legends are in Frisco. FC Dallas is in Frisco, and so what we did was just find us a market kind of in the middle of all of that, and we're in the city of Addison, and Addison is an entertainment type city, and we found ourselves in the middle of Dallas, in the middle of North Dallas in Addison, Texas.
So not only about kind of spreading yourself out, but what else did you find specifically in that market that you think appealed to having a TBL team there?
Just the talent that we have in Dallas itself, and the hunger for affordable, family-friendly entertainment. And so we have a fit there. Even though we're in a very large market, we have a fit where we play, and everything's bigger in Texas. So even we have a pretty decent 7,500 seat arena that we'll play in, and we still don't overstep our boundaries with the Mavericks or the Legends. So it's just so Dallas is so big, it's still room for us.
Sure. This is year what for the Skyline and the TBL?
This is year one.
What made you want to join a league like the TBL?
I'm a sports agent by trade.
Okay.
And so the need for the United States to have multiple divisions in this sport is high for me. And so if you go to any other country, there is always at least 3 divisions. So if you go to Germany, there's like BBL, which is their version of the NBA, and then there's Pro A, and then there's Pro B. But in the United States, we have the NBA, and then we have the developmental league of the NBA, and then everything else is considered semi-pro or minor league. Well, when the TBL came, it gives another pro option. There's not many players that's going to be able to make the NBA. So instead of them having to go overseas to be considered pro, TBL gives them a chance to be pros in the United States.
So as an agent, how do you look at a league like this that the vast majority of them don't have agents, and it's not required, and it's actually very uncommon for them to
Right.
have any? How do you look at a league like that?
I look at it just like any other league. If I were operating as an agent, I would love for my players, like maybe players lower on my list, to play in a league like this, because it gives, again, my players a chance to get paid, be considered pros. And right now, the TBL serves as a catapult to other leagues, and it's respected all over the world. And so there's a lot of other abbreviated leagues that aren't respected. If you show film of those minor leagues and semi-pro leagues, your player may not get picked up because of that. It's almost like they never played that year. It's almost like having a gap in your resume. And so the TBL fixes that. So if I were an agent with a client that needs updated film, needs a boost in his resume, or maybe just needs that gap year, it's almost like prep school for pro basketball. And so just needs that grad year after college, and they're trying to catapult into high-level pro basketball. The TBL is respected enough to be that.
TBL does have respect already?
Yeah.
Seems early.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. And okay, so the talent-wise that we have out on that court, how does that compare?
Oh, okay.
Compare?
I think it compares really well to like a second division overseas or a third division overseas. The talent level that we have, while we have, I mean, it ranges. While we have certain players that are finishing their career and just want to be home. Like I have players that are playing for Dallas that are signed with Dallas Skyline that are just ready to be home. They're tired of being overseas for 8 months, and they have really lucrative careers overseas, but they're just tired of being away from their family. So we have those players that very well could go make a really good living overseas, but choose to play in the TBL at home. But then you also have those players that need that development, and then they need that stamp on them to get the respect, to show that they can compete at a high level overseas. So you got to understand, overseas they're usually only 2 to 3 Americans on a team, maybe 1 to 2 to 3 Americans on a team, where you're coming from a league where there's nothing but Americans and they're all pros and it's a high level of basketball. It just helps them in their resume. So competition level, I think it's comparable to a second to third division. I don't see many of our teams going to or many of our players so far going to Euro League or Turkish Airlines or any of the high level leagues overseas, or even the G League right now. But I think we're getting there.
So there seems to be a high level of trust around TBL. How do you see confidence that players are going to get paid, promises are going to be met in this league compared to, I'm sure, experiences you've had with clients, arbitration, some other issues overseas? How does that compare with what we see here, with what we can get, not everywhere, overseas?
It's just about the ownership group. It's really about getting the right people in ownership, and I think that's what certain leagues like the NFL and the NBA have gotten to, where they've probably had their struggles early on, but once they got the owners, 30 owners that are working together, and you're only as good as your weakest link type thing, and all owners tend to do their job, then the league starts to flow. I think this year I've been around the league for the last 3 years, and I think this year we have a really, really good ownership group. I haven't been an owner for the last 3 years. This is my first year as an owner, but I've been around the league, and I think this league has a really, really group of good owners this year, and owners that have the resources, that aren't in over their heads. They are comparable business people, and can really care about the kids and the players. So I think that is where it starts, is having that group of people that really care, that are that have the ability to run a pro basketball team.
So how do people in the Dallas area or the region that you're in know that the Skyline is going to be there long term?
That's still up in the air. People still do have their doubts if we're going to be there long term or not. But I think the moves that we've made show that we're serious. So we play in a 7,500 seat arena that is hard to secure in Dallas, and we have the support of our mayor. We have the political support. We have validation of respected basketball players that are going to play for us. We have a really good 20-year experienced head coach. And then, we're owned by a young, inexperienced owner, but I'm very hungry and very capable. And so I think, people can see through that, and I think they understand that we're here this year and we are serious, we are legit, but I think it's still up in the air. It's still like we'll wait and see if we're going to be there long term.
What do people need to know about the Skyline that we haven't covered?
Just know it's going to be a great brand of basketball. Everything's bigger in Texas, so it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be exciting. We have a really awesome dance team. We have a lot of entertainment, and it's going to be a good night out. Whether it's date night or family night, it's going to be an amazing experience.
Do you want to talk about that real quick? Marketing for minor leagues is always different. I mean,
Mhm.
it's always fun to look at some of the promotions minor league baseball does, just because
Yeah.
they got to do anything they can.
Exactly.
How do you foresee that happening with owning minor league basketball?
Just making sure that, especially being in a city where there is another pro team, an NBA
Yeah.
team, is making sure that people understand that it is, it's pro basketball. Taking that minor league stamp off of us, and it's pro basketball, because when that parent just tells their kid they're going to go see Skyline, that 5-year-old, that 6-year-old, that 7-year-old, that 8-year-old that wants to go to the game, he doesn't really know the difference between the NBA and the TBL. He just knows this is a pro basketball game, and these are pro basketball players. So he may be a fan of Luka, and know that he's going to watch the Mavericks and watch Luka play, but he also may be a fan of Charlie Shorter and know that he's going to watch Charlie Shorter this night, but he doesn't know the difference in the levels. He just knows he's going to watch Charlie Shorter and Luka Doncic. And so that's what I want parents and fans to understand, that this is going to be fun. You can touch us. You probably can't get to Luka all the time. You probably can't get to Porzingis, but you can touch us. We can be at your schools. We can have lunch with your kid one day. We can do so much more, and you can get to us. You can get on our court, and you can be a part of the Skyline community.
That's a very good point. Okay, where can they find you on on social media?
We are Dallas Skyline BC on all platforms. So our website is www.dallasskylinebc. BC stands for basketball club. So Dallas Skyline BC on Instagram, Twitter. We now have a YouTube and Facebook, and that's our website.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.